It's crazy these days when you learn basically everybody that is rich and famous or involved in bullshit politics is like a rapist, molester, and or pedo. Like all of them, shit is fucked, bruh. You got all these people they leave by the wayside on their path to whatever it is they call success. They all leave a trail of all these raped and molested people and shit, not to mention the ones that are dead that no one ever heard from ever again. Meanwhile, the famous people be living their best life, partying on yachts with champagne and all that. It's a fucked up wild world, bro. The whole famous thing. You want to be famous stuff and all that. It's like a spider web. It's like how spiders set up their webs by your porch light. They be catching all the bugs like that. You know why? It's just like Hollywood and all the sick fucks catching people there. Hollywood is a false moon. You know why? You know why the spider gets all the bugs in its web by the light on your front porch? The bugs get around by flying towards the moon. Your front porch light is a false moon. Hollywood and fame and all that bullshit is also a false moon, with people thinking it's the end all for their life to be famous and happy and all that, when most end up junkies odin in an alley. The Hollywood people who be doing the raping and molesting and all that are like the spiders. They set up their web by the false moon. Their webs are talent agencies, managers, agents, and all that. They catch you in the web and like a spider suck your blood. They drain you until you're an empty, used-up husk, then throw you out of the web so they can lure in some new ones. I kinda got lured into something like that way back when I was young, except it wasn't in Hollywood. It was in my town in California. In my neighborhood, we had a kung fu teacher who ended up being a child molester and rapist. We didn't know he was when he first became our teacher, of course, but he spun a spider web like the Hollywood tricks. He would go up to kids and ask them if they wanted to be famous actors, and some kids would fall for that. He said he would teach them acting and help them become famous. Meanwhile, he was molesting and raping a gang of boys. He had already raped 4 or 5 boys he served time for when we met him. He didn't get me with that wanna-be famous shit, though. He got me with some Van Damme doing the split shit. Remember that dude? He was a famous, like, karate actor in the ADS, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah, Kung Fu rapist got me by telling me he could teach me Kung Fu. When he told me that, like, in my head, I was like, oh shit, maybe I could do the fucking splits like Van Damme then. I mean, I don't even know why I wanted to do the splits like that, as it's kinda gay, bro, but anyhow, he promised the splits and all that. And I went along become the Kung Fu student of a pedophile and rapist with like 8 other boys from our hood. He ended up raping my friend and molesting me. The dude he raped, it fucked up his life. He never recovered. Shit is fucked. Dude used to do some cult leader shit to us, like every time he drove us around in his car, he'd play that Whitney Houston song, I Will Only Love You or whatever. That's all the song said over and over, I think. Like he was trying to program us so we thought he loved us or something. One time he took us to another student's house to break his arms or whatever, because the kid had hit his mom or something because his girl broke up with him or some shit. But he raper dude picked us up late at night, like on a Sunday, and drove us to some house. We looked in a garage window, and kid was sitting on the floor with candles listening to LL Cool J's I Need Love. Then we busted in the door, and Kung Fu rapist started yelling at him and slapped him a few times and had us get in his face to scare him. But we were under the spell, so if he would have told us to hurt that kid, we would have anyway. Then we went in the kitchen and the kid's mom came out and she was some lady without a bra with big titties flopping all over the place. She like came out of nowhere and was like, "You boys want some shrimp?" and brought us like plates of shrimp. Then when we sat down to eat, she stood behind us and started rubbing our backs and was like, "You brought some strong boys over." And me and my friend looked at each other like, what the fuck are we gonna have to bang dude's mom in front of him for some weird kung fu sex type thing? Thankfully we didn't. It was too weird, bro. But yeah, dude had me over at his place for private stretching sessions, where we rolled on the floor and he was like sort of grazing my dick now and then. It wasn't that bad for me as I got molested worse when I was way younger. I was like, this isn't as bad as that. And if I can do the splits like Van Damme, that would be tight. Shit's fucked up, I know. That's California for you, my dude. But yeah, he raped our friend by having him go over there to teach him the Jackie Chan drunken style. As you can imagine, he got kid drunk and this shit is normal here. Like all over as above, so below, they say. If like all your heroes on TV are pedos and rapists, damn, then the regular people be doing that too. But yeah, from raping my friend, eventually the Kung Fu rapist got busted. I remember we saw him on TV on this show called Fugitive Watch. But we didn't talk about it much. We just wanted to forget about it. We just wanted it to fade away. But my dude, you know that stuff never really goes away. It leaves a mark. It makes you tainted. There's a whole lot of tainted people walking around here. I bet a lot of the crazy people around here got tainted by some sick fuck. You know what is extra fucked up? Where the Kung Fu rapist lived, it was pedophile housing. It was these 3 apartments, and later we learned pedophiles lived in all 3, as like pedophiles can only live in specific places. You ever look at that pedo map shit? Megan's Law? To see all the sick fucks living around you. You know those dudes are only on there because they're poor. All the rich pedos and rapists don't end up on there. They end up on the screens rich and famous getting standing ovations. You know, the Kung Fu rapist got out of prison last year after doing like 20 years. One of my friends who was also his student wanted me to go with him to find him. But I'm not trying to chase that type of California bra. I'm trying to get away from it. I need to get the fuck out of California, bro. This place is just filled with madness, evil, and apathy. 3 things I don't have any more room for. I only got 1 suitcase for my trip out of hell, and I got no more room in it, especially for that kind of shit. So I told my friend I wasn't gonna ride with him to chase old ghosts. That rapist dude is already living in his own hell. People put up posters and billboards with his face on it. Wherever he goes, let him burn. He doesn't need my help to die a miserable death. He's already on his way. Another crazy thing about that story. I once went to watch a soccer game across town and met a kid my age, and we started talking. The Kung Fu rapist had another apartment on that side of town with another whole batch of boys there. You know what his biggest lie and trick was? He'd take every student aside and say, I don't want the other students to hear this because it might make them feel bad, but you are my best student. And I just want you to know that. Later we figured out he said the same thing to all of us. None of us had dads around, by the way. That's how he got us. Lost boys looking for approval from their absent fathers. But instead we got approval from a child molester for doing the sick shit that got him off. Boys without fathers looking for a male role model. A human void came to fill the void and created a new void within us. Sometimes I don't even feel like a real person. Sometimes I feel like a hollow doll, an empty container waiting for instructions. I always feel like I'm acting like I'm an actor. Are you acting too? Is everyone an actor? Or do they feel like they are real people, like they are full people? I feel like my real self is hollow, like it's empty, like it's a void. My real self is a shadow of who I was at some point. Maybe that's all that is left now. I'm a good actor, by the way, as no one can see through to what I really am. That's all I am, an actor. I was born alone, and I'll die alone. Before I go, you are all invited to the show. Please stare. This is the face of true despair. I'm just an actor in this weird-ass movie that is life. I always seem to end up in the weird parts. That's just how it goes. That's just how it is. For now.